Welcome inside of Education Matters. My name is Donna Moore Westby, your host of Education Matters, where we're connecting you to the world of education one step at a time. Thank you so much again for joining us for another week of wonderful information. Today will be a paper and pencil day because we're talking about supplemental educational services. These are services that you may qualify for. Certainly, if you have a child in school and your child needs additional assistance, maybe some tutoring after school, this is the program for you. If it's not for you, then you make a phone call and tell your neighbor, call a friend or another family member, because this show is definitely going to help save some lives today. I personally believe that, especially when we're talking about educating our children. All right? So again, thank you so much for joining us for another great week inside of Education Matters. I will have a very special treat for you at the end of the broadcast, so make sure you stay tuned throughout the duration of today's program. I'd like to, of course, start out by thanking the sponsors of Education Matters, and they are the Martial Arts Academy under the direction of Mr. Andrew Blocker. Also, Magnolia Medical Center, Dr. Margot Muniz. I'll be seeing you on next week. You better give me a good, clean bill of health. I'm looking forward to seeing your staff there as well as you. And hopefully, viewers, if you ladies are looking for a doctor who is professional and willing to give you the time you deserve, then check out Magnolia Medical Center. Also, Westby's Products and Services, creator of Dawn Seasoning Delight, all-purpose seasoning and marinade. We're getting close to Thanksgiving time. You want to make sure you're going to get stocked up with that Dawn Seasoning Delight. Also great on vegetables. Use it every day, okay? You know, this is the end of Childhood Obesity Awareness Month. Using that Dawn Seasoning Delight can certainly help with that regard. Not making you obese, but keeping you from getting that way, okay? And then also the Will Lou Gray Opportunity School out of West Columbia, a brand new sponsor to Education Matters. You'll see their commercial today at the bottom of the hour. So we're very thankful for them because they are indeed changing the lives of many youth in South Carolina. And then today with me is my last sponsor, and that is the Barner Group Educational Associates. You're going to want to hear what this organization has to offer, all right? So special thanks to all of our sponsors. They make it possible for us to bring you quality programming every week here inside of ASTV. And then I'd like to recognize those individuals I call Friends of Education Matters. They have pledged a mere $30 a month just to say they support what we do here, and they endorse the fact that education definitely does matter. And they are my parents, Isaac and Betty Rucker, out of Aiken, South Carolina, T.C. and Robin Edwards from Augusta, Georgia, and also Howard and Loretta Bush from Aiken, South Carolina. So shouts out to all of you. We could not do what we do here every week inside of Education Matters without your support. All right, it's now time for the Education Matters Tip of the Week. Every week we do provide you a new tip, and this week is certainly no different. So here goes. James, you ready? All right. This week's tip: reading is fundamental. The sooner your child learns to read, the better foundation he or she will have in all class subjects, actually in life. Test your child's reading ability by having the child read to you a grade level appropriate book. Yes, this also includes high school students. Parents, you may not realize it, but there are many high school students, I am embarrassed to say, who are in high school in line for graduation and are not reading on their grade level. You need to know this ahead of time. Early detection of problems can oftentimes be corrected, okay? Follow your heart on this. Allow your children to read to you so that if there are problems, we can detect them early and get your child the help he or she needs. And today's discussion will be a perfect tie-in with this week's tip of the week, all right? Again, you can find that tip of the week on my website, which is www.edmatt.com. That's EDMATT.com. All right. Miss Cindy is smiling because she knows that that sound means it's Word of the Week time inside of Education Matters. Every week we do provide you a new Word of the Week. If you are a new viewer to Education Matters, this is one of my favorite parts of the broadcast because oftentimes it's a brand new word for me, or it's an opportunity for you to share a new word with your young person in your home to prepare them for their standardized exams and also to just open your mind to the world of communication. So this week's word of the week, I just love the way it sounds, is finesse. Finesse. And I must say, because he's looking so dapper, that my guest here in the studio always operates with such finesse. Here it is on the screen for you, and I will spell it. It's Finesse. Okay? Finesse. And for this particular sentence that I'll give you, I will be using the noun form of the verb. And it means artful restraint and delicacy of performance or behavior. It also means subtlety or tact in maneuvering, craftiness. Okay? So I'll use that in a sentence for you. The teacher handled the sensitive discussion with finesse as she shared with parents her sex education lesson plans. She better have used some finesse these days. All right, that is this week's Word of the Week. Make sure you use that Word of the Week. Place it on your refrigerator. Make a game out of these words of the week. Oh yeah, I need to also share with you on my website, which again is edmatt.com. I have placed a crossword puzzle on the page consisting of words of the week that we have shared over the past 3 years. This crossword puzzle is a lot of fun. It'll also give you an opportunity to recap some of those words that you've learned over the past couple of years, and we've also added some of the new words. So go to my website, pull out that crossword puzzle and have some fun. It actually is a word search puzzle, okay? Again, thank you so much for following me every week, and we can learn and grow together. All right? Okay, without further ado, we're going to move into today's topic, which is one I'm actually very, very passionate about. And it's called Supplemental Educational Services. And my guests here today are Miss Felicia Cuthbertson, who is an associate with the Barner Group Educational Associates, and also the CEO of the Barner Group, Mr. Reggie Barner. So welcome to
Does your
the
child or
Education Matters
grandchild need
Studios.
help in reading?
Thank you.
Yes, we're so happy to have you. I'm thrilled about this particular subject because, Mr. Barner, we are definitely helping to change some lives, right?
That's right.
That's right. What is supplemental educational services? Let's start with the basics first.
SES is a program, which is Supplemental Educational Services, that is funded through the No Child Left Behind Act for schools that have failed to meet AYP, which is Adequate Yearly Progress, for 2 years or more.
Okay.
Those schools, which are Title I schools, Title I means that they have more than 50% of their student population that receives free or reduced lunch.
Right.
They're required to offer those services at no charge to the students if they fail to meet AYP for that 2-year period.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, viewers? No charge. Now, just let me recap to make sure you're on board with what we're saying. Supplemental Educational Service is a federally funded program, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And what this means is if a school has not met adequate yearly progress, and you may have recognized the acronym before, AYP. I know in Aiken, I believe it's at least 3 consecutive years. If they've not met AYP in 3 consecutive years, and the applicants must be on free or reduced lunch.
That's correct.
Okay, attending that Title I school, and we're going to mention those schools in just a moment. then the school must, they don't have an option in this, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, they must provide these supplemental educational services. What is the whole goal, Mr. Barner, behind supplemental educational services?
The goal is in order to facilitate and help the children advance and help with their academic standards, but it's also to help facilitate and increase the standards for the school themselves.
Okay.
Because once we can help and provide this additional assistance to the kids and that additional training they need when they take their MAP testing and the other tests, standardized tests, it then helps the school progress and move forward. And that's really what each program is designed around, is the state standards for South Carolina. And so as we identify those needs and identify those standards, then we develop our tutorial programs around those standards.
Okay, that's good to know. We're going to enlighten our viewers on your particular services, because as you are one actually of 51 state-approved providers of supplemental educational services. Of course, we're happy to have you as a sponsor of Education Matters because really we want to get the word out to our parents and our families that these services are available. Now, when it comes to the eligibility of this program, give us a little bit more details on how a family watching today knows whether or not for sure he or she qualifies for the services.
For the schools, again, the school has to be a Title I school, and they have to have not met AYP for 2 or 3 years. The 2-year time frame comes in if it's a smaller district that doesn't have a school that the child can transfer, which is then school choice, which is an option to parents also. But they have to attend that eligible school where the school is a Title I school. And then the families have to receive free or reduced lunch, or at least be eligible. There are a lot of times where families are not aware they're eligible for free or reduced lunch, so they haven't completed that application. But as long as they're eligible, we can facilitate the assistance of getting them free and reduced lunch also.
Okay, now we've thrown around the words Title I. Help our viewers understand what Title I means.
Title I is a school where more than 50% of that student enrollment receives free or reduced lunch.
Okay, all right. And so is it safe to say that any parent whose child is attending a Title I school, that school has gone through steps to ensure that they are aware they're a Title I school?
They are. There are Title I requirements where they're required to provide, even if they don't meet AYP, that the school is a Title I school. And because of the majority of the population being low income, the state has requirements for services they have to render at those particular schools.
Okay, that's good. Now, with the Barner Group Educational Associates being one of the many providers that are available, obviously there are specific components of your program that you believe are beneficial to those who qualify for the services. What distinguishes the Barner Group Educational Associates from other providers that are available?
I think our holistic approach. We have transportation, we provide snacks, we do computer-based in cooperation with direct instruction, and new to our program this year, we'll be participating at Ruth Patrick Science Center for Aiken County. So we have instruction that is engaging, it's interactive, it's hands-on, and computerized in addition to the direct instruction. We also have a social component through our parent involvement coordinator.
Okay.
Again, we try to do the holistic approach for the family and the student's education.
And you know, that's so important when we're talking about, Mr. Barner, producing or helping to develop and cultivate young people who are well-rounded and certainly who are able to achieve academically and contribute positively to society. It takes a variety of aspects of that child's development to help produce those kinds of kids.
And you're right from that standpoint. To piggyback on what Felicia said is, you know, for us and why we're involved in this program to begin with. And let me say this to the viewers. It's not about the Barner Group. It's not about using our services, but it is about using a service.
Right.
You know, it's free. The federal government it started under the Bush administration, started No Child Left Behind. A lot of people debated this issue back and forth, but this program is a beneficial program for families and for the youth in our communities. And so the only thing that I ask people, and why we're here today, is sure, would we like for you to choose the Barner Group Education to be your provider, SES? Absolutely. But we also want you to make sure that if you don't choose us, you choose someone to get your eligible child the services that they need and that they're due. For me, my 20 plus years of running a housing agency and being involved in the community, I saw a need. I saw a lot of things that kids didn't get every single day. And I saw us talking about it when I went to school improvement meetings, when I went to school board meetings, when I went to different meetings in the community and talked about the education system. I kept constantly keep hearing about the problems.
Right.
And so there's an old adage, you can either be part of the solution or be part of the problem.
Right.
So I started Barner Group Education under the Barner Group to be part of the solution. And so what we're trying to do with Felicia's leadership is really offer a comprehensive program where, as she said, a lot of times families and mothers are working, so they don't have the time or the transportation. If their child stays after school, who's going to take them home because they're riding the bus? So we put a component in our program where we take them home after that. We also work with the schools. Last year our program was in Schofield. We plan to be back in Schofield this year. We're going to be working with Ridge Springs Minetta High School to offer a program there. So we try to work with the school system, offer our programs directly in the school. We pay a fee for that to be able to be in the school, but we want to be a school-based after-school program, and then we can provide the transportation at our cost. We provide that transportation home for those kids. As Felicia said, Ruth Patrick Center, we recognize that while we work on English and language arts and we work on the math component, we also know that in order for us to educate future scientists and engineers, we got to focus on science as well, and that's something that people typically leave out of their educational component,
Right.
is the science component. We have a wonderful institution right here in this community in USC Aiken and the
Yes.
Ruth Patrick Center. So one of the things that we wanted to do this year with her direction is to incorporate the Ruth Patrick Center into our education component, as she alluded to. That way we're holistic in our approach to education. Donna, we want to piggyback on what the school system already does. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
So we're trying to work
And that's
hand
important.
in hand with Aiken County School System to offer an after-school program that can work hand in hand with the goals and the standards that they've already set, and we try to carry that on in our program. So that way, when at the end of the 9-week program and kids leave, they could win.
That's right. And I think a key word in what we're talking about is the word supplement, supplemental. That means it's in addition to. If there are any weaknesses or any areas that aren't quite covered as strongly as we want so that that child can achieve academically, that's what these services are for. James, if we can skip to slide number 4, I want to reiterate the point and reemphasize the point that these services are free. Okay? These services are free. This is your opportunity for free tutoring for your child. Now, having said that, Ms. Felicia, sometimes the word free gets a bad rap. You know, the people for some reason think that if something is free, then it must not be good, it must not be of high quality, and I don't know, for some reason people feel as if you pay for something, then it might be better than when it's free. Address that for me.
The program is free, again, because it's federal money that comes through the school districts with the intent to assist them in meeting performance.
Because the schools want to achieve as well.
They do.
Right.
Yeah.
It affects their performance and their ratings from a state and an internal district level. So that money, again, is used to companies to be able to supplement what they're doing in the classroom. But because each student learns different, sometimes a different company's approach is just what the child needs to get on board
Right.
with what's going on in the classroom.
And I think the other thing to add to that, go back to the free statement, because I'm mindful of that. Nothing in this world is free.
Yes.
There is a cost for the program. It's just that the families that attend these Title I schools don't have to bear that cost in order for them to get the additional tutoring for their children. But there is a cost. Somebody is paying. The federal government designed this under the federal budget to be able to assist school districts across this country to be able to facilitate this program. So yes, you're right. There is a cost to the program, but the families get to benefit from it at no charge directly to them. So that's where the word free comes in for the family receiving the benefit. But there's as we all agree, there's a cost that all of us bear, but we want to educate and have a quality education for our kids.
That's right. I'm glad you said that, Mr. Barner. I happen to have the data from 2010, 2011, strictly now for Aiken County. But our budget for supplemental education services last year was $1,194,000, and which amounts to roughly $1,300 to $1,400 per student. Now, this year we're able to accommodate in Aiken County about 900 students in this particular program. So it's definitely a wonderful opportunity for those of you who are interested and for those of you who feel as if your child needs some additional assistance. Now, just before we hear from our sponsors, after school, are all of the services after school programs?
They are. We do a Saturday academy also because we have sometimes student athletes that they're
That's
practicing 2 days of the week and they have games the other day. So we do also incorporate Saturday for them, but primarily the program is after school. For those schools where the enrollment is there, we have it on site after school. Other than that, we use community centers and libraries within a close proximity to be able to still facilitate it immediately after school.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, it's already been a very valuable discussion. There's somebody watching today who's going to benefit from supplemental educational services. Will it be you? After we hear from our sponsors, we'll talk specifically about the Barner Group Educational Associates method as it relates to their tutoring services. We'll also discuss those eligible schools and the providers that you have to choose from. All right? Don't change that dial. You're inside of Education Matters. My name is Donna Moore Westby, your host, where we're connecting you to the world of education one step at a time. Don't change that dial.
Does your child or grandchild need help in reading or math, or can benefit from preparatory coursework for the HSAP, ACT, or SAT? If so, contact the Barner Group Educational Associates. Our staff specializes in formatting an individualized approach to assisting your child academically. We offer low-cost tutorial services and educational programs. Participants may qualify for free services. To learn more, call for Alicia Cuthbertson of the Barner Group Educational Associates, 1-888-TBG-3996.
The Will Lou Gray Opportunity School has been serving the beautiful Midlands of South Carolina since 1921. Our mission has evolved over the years, and we now specialize in helping young people move past their obstacles in order to achieve success. We give students opportunities to lead, to develop social skills, to become active in their communities, and to taste success. Don't settle for less than the absolute best for your life. Contact us today to take the next step in your journey toward success.
Has your teenage child been expelled from school? Or does your child lack self-discipline and control, and you need help instilling these virtues in your child? Maybe the Will Lou Gray Opportunity School can help. Learn more about this quasi-military school available for South Carolina students next time on Education Matters with Donna Moore Westby, right here on ASTV Channel 95.
Total Women's Health Care means treating the women physically, emotionally, and everything in between. At Magnolia Medical Women's Center, we treat and diagnose common and unusual medical problems related to female health. Magnolia Medical Center is a premium high-level obstetrics and gynecology clinic for women of all ages. Our clients receive the time they deserve without feeling rushed and unimportant. We are located in the Aiken Medical Center, 410 University Parkway in Aiken, Suite 2300. Call us today at 803-649-6366.
Need positive and constructive after-school activities for your children? Call the Martial Arts Academy in Aiken under the direction of International Olympic trainer Andrew Blocker. The Martial Arts Academy offers an award-winning approach to teaching Taekwondo. It's an effective approach to instilling discipline. The Martial Arts Academy also offers self-defense and fitness classes for all ages. Enroll today in this affordable program by calling 803-642-5723 or visit the studio at 2398 Whiskey Road in Aiken. The Martial Arts Academy, positively changing the lives of youth and adults.
When it comes to grilling, I'm the man. Using Dawn seasoning and the like, I'm the grill master.
My seasoning is available at Kroger, Bilo, Food Line, Reeds, and Harvest. Look for it on display in the meat department. Also visit seasoningdelight.com for information and recipes. Dawn Seasoning Delight. It's so good.
Dawn Seasoning Delight is so good.
If you are interested in becoming an individual or corporate sponsor of Education Matters, or to receive sponsorship information, call Donna Moore Wesby at 803-507-6793, or you can send an email to dwesby@edmat.com.
Welcome back inside of Education Matters. My name is Donna Moore Westby, your host of Education Matters, where we're connecting you to the world of education one step at a time. If you're just joining us today inside of the program, it's a great one. We're talking about supplemental educational services. What are they? Well, these are services that school districts can provide free to parents and students if your child is attending a school that has not met AYP in 2 to 3 years consecutively, that means in a row, and if that school is a Title I school, which means they have 50% or more children on free or reduced lunch, all right? That is the criteria for receiving those services. And today in the studio with me are Miss Felicia Cuthbertson as well as Mr. Reginald Barner. And they are both from the Barner Group Educational Associates, and they are just one of the 51 state-approved providers in South Carolina of these services, all right? So we'll pick back up with Miss Felicia and talking specifically in more detail about the Barner Group's actual method for conducting these services. And James, if you will, we'll go ahead and put up this slide and ask Ms. Cuthbertson to explain it for us, okay?
Our program is a 9-week program, and as we mentioned earlier, we do instruction in ELA, which is English Language Arts, math, and science. Our science component is done through Ruth Patrick Science Center during weeks 3, 6, and 9 of the program. So on those weeks, the students will be on site at USC Aiken's campus at the Ruth Patrick Science Center location. For our ELA and math, the sessions are 2 hours in length immediately after school. The first 30 minutes is devoted to snacks and homework assistance, which is not a component of the SES program. However, we know that it's important to being able to assist the kids and to provide them with a snack. So the last hour and a half of tutoring is split equally, 45 minutes for English Language Arts and then another 45 minutes for math. Our math program is computerized. It's a program, IXL.com, which pinpoints every single standard. So the students are thus allowed to work on what they need. If it's fractions, they focus on fractions. If it's decimal, if it's scientific notation, it gives them the opportunity to do exactly what they need.
And I'm glad you bring that up, because if I'm not mistaken, in my research, is this true that providers of SES are able to utilize the MAP data to help pinpoint exactly what's needed for that child?
That's correct.
Okay.
In addition to the MAP, we also do a pre-test, because sometimes we take into account the student doesn't test as well in MAP, or it could have been that MAP was administered in August, and sometimes our program doesn't start until January.
So basically
we
like
use
an assessment.
Yes, we do a pre-assessment
Okay.
for the students in addition to that.
Wonderful.
But with the MAP scores, you're right, it gives us the information to show that the child has this particular area that would be a focus point. And we also take into feedback from parents, because parents spend time with the children to see that, it's sometimes double-digit numbers that gives the child a problem, or it's more specifically decimals when they're related to fractions. So we're able to get parental input.
Okay. Mr. Barner, is it a part of the model that as you are providing services to these young people that you give periodic updates to the schools? How do the schools then know what type of progress the child is making?
This is probably the most exciting part of what the Barner Group does. It's different from other people.
Okay.
Felicia alluded to that we have a parent involvement coordinator. We recognize that kids bring a lot of issues and problems to us after school.
Right.
So just by providing only tutoring to a child, you're not able to assess and understand
That's right.
all the needs of a child. So as we talk about holistic approach, we sit down with the child, we sit with the parent. So we employ at our cost a parent involvement coordinator. That's a liaison designed intentionally between the school, the parent, and us. So if the young man is having problem reading and nobody ever tested his eyes to understand he needs glasses, then we're hoping that we can be able to identify that in our program. So as you can see, it's not just about the tutoring component, it's about
Right.
understanding his learning. Talk with the teachers, talk with the counselors to understand what is going on with his behavior problem.
Right.
So even if we need to do and help facilitate a referral for a behavior mod program. So that way, not only do we carry that on in our tutoring program, we are able to help at home, and then we're also able to transfer that into the school, because we want to make sure at the end of that 9 weeks, that child transitions into a better situation than when we found them originally. So you're right, not only do we do an academic review periodically through that 9 weeks, we also are looking at the behavior problems or behavior mod issues for that child, and then even the mother or father. You know, we're looking to see, are you underemployed? So during our program, we're assessing the needs of the family holistically, because we understand, and you know like I do, that if the mother and father is not taken care of, then they can't adequately take care of their children. Because I understand, in being in the business I've been in a lot of times, is the difficulty is parents respond based on their education experience.
Yes.
And so if we can help to change that for them and motivate them to understand a better process is in order, then they don't go up to the school fussing and raising sand with the administration. They understand better how that process is done. A lot of it is intimidation and a fear. And so what we try to do is help remove that fear and understanding through this process. And then so as we monitor the child, we're monitoring their academic ability, the behavioral, the family components. So that way, again, throughout this 9-week program, we're steadily trying to enhance that family environment.
I think that model would appear to be extremely effective, because what ends up happening is we're piecemealing and we're putting Band-Aids on situations until we address the needs of the entire family, and we try as best as we can to educate our parents, our moms and dads, grandparents who are raising children on what is impacting or affecting that child that comes from home that we don't have any control over. And I say we, mean the educators or those people who are on the outside of that home. Then in many cases, it seems as if we're fighting an uphill battle.
That's right.
And that parenting component is really insightful. And I certainly pray that it is helping many of our parents to see that there are resources available to help them and not just criticize them. Now, one of the other points that I wanted to address is, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, is the after-school component. Just with the fact that many of the providers are providing these services after school. What measures are in place to ensure that these after-school programs are quality programs and not, in a sense, daycares?
We receive, there's an application process to be approved by the State of South Carolina Departments of Education. And one of those requirements is that your program is research-based and that it is aligned to state standards.
Good.
In addition to that, the district itself comes out to monitor that the things you've said that you will be providing services to the students in are actually being held. So there are staff people with the districts that come to make sure the students are engaged.
And
There's a 1-to-8 ratio that they also make sure you adhere to, that the students receive that services, that you don't have 50 students trying to get the program from one instructor.
Okay, good.
And I was
Ms.
just going
Lawler?
to piggyback with Felicia that, you know, our contact locally is Jenny Glover mostly. And
That's
Jenny
correct.
has done a great job over the last couple of years that we've been involved in this program of informing and letting the providers understand and know. You know, when we do fairs, last night there was a fair out in Ridge Springs. You know, the district is supporting, I know it may be simple in thought, but the district is supporting where they provided free Chick-fil-A sandwiches provided by the district to encourage families to get involved. So I think it's been a wonderful experience in Aiken County where Jenny has really taken the lead to try to encourage more families to be in there. But let me say also that she holds the providers responsible, which is a good thing.
Yes.
And so, you know, because she's trying to make sure that the use of those federal funds and the standards that the district needs are being met by the providers that are working in the program.
Right.
So while it works hand in hand, it's still a regulatory program that we need to meet, and I think that's been beneficial as well.
Right, that is so key. And I want viewers, I want you to know that while we may be talking specifically about Aiken County, supplemental educational services are available in Barnwell County as well as Allendale County. To get the specifics on that, all you need to do is contact your district office for the coordinator of your federal programs, and you can get those additional details. You had a comment to make?
Edgefield County also.
Yes, yes. All right, very good. Now, Mr. Barner also brought up the fact that many of the districts are doing some creative things to enlighten, inform, educate parents as well as the students about these providers and about supplemental educational services. And I wanted to confirm that Paul Knox Middle, Ridge Spring Minetta Elementary Middle, that's kind of hard to say, and Ridge Spring Minetta High School did have their fairs already. But I do want to announce for you, and I wish I had this information sooner to give to James. James, you could have tried your little trick where you put the information on the side of my head, but I'm going to give you these dates anyway. Red Cliff Elementary will have their provider fair on September the 29th from 5:30 to 7:30, okay? Aiken Performing Arts Academy and the Lloyd Kennedy Charter School will have theirs on September the 29th from 5 to 6 p.m., okay? LBC Middle will have their provider fair on October the 6th from 5:30 to 7:30, and Aiken Middle will have their fair on October the 10th from 5 to 7 p.m., and then finally, Schofield Middle School will have their fair on October 17th from 5 to 7 p.m. All right, will you all be attending all those fairs?
We will.
Oh my goodness, that's quite a lot of work. That's quite a lot of work. So what actually takes place at the provider fairs?
The different certified providers for the state of South Carolina that will be serving Aiken County students are set up as generally in the cafeteria or the auditorium to allow parents to come and get information from all the providers prior to making a decision. Sometimes they're in-home only, sometimes they're online without direct instruction, so they're able to see what each company offers and determine which best fits the needs of their family and their students' academic needs.
Wonderful, very good. And viewers, I want you to know that also at those providers, as Ms. Cuthbertson just stated, you will get an opportunity to interface with all 51 of those providers. Now, the Barner Group Educational Associates, they're here today because they are a sponsor of Education Matters, but the reason why there are so many different providers, I'm going to let Mr. Barner answer that. I won't just tell you.
Well, I think, as Felicia alluded to, the state has strict standards of companies that are providing this service. They must meet and design programs based on the scope of work and the scope of services that meets the state standards. But also, it's really companies that I think truly want to make a difference and help improve the academic standards. And as we indicated at the beginning of the show, even if it's not us that you choose someone. As you indicated, Aiken County has available, and I don't have the number in front of me of how many participated last year in the program, but Aiken County has probably about 900 to close to 1,000 available slots we want to make sure that if the money is available, that we use those funds to go towards this program, because in years past, that number has not been as high
That's right.
as it should have been, where, even when they were offering 800 or 700 slots, there were only about 350, 400 kids participate in the program. So we're leaving 300 or 400 slots on the table.
Well, I want to interject there because I'm so glad you said that, and I'm going to give a plug for Education Matters.
Okay.
When I joined the board 3 years ago and first learned of supplemental educational services, we were in the district only accommodating about 350 students. And we started talking about it on the radio broadcast, talking about it. We had providers to come on to talk about exactly what you're doing here today. And I believe, I will go on record saying that I believe this opened the eyes of many people, because actually the application itself was quite intimidating. And we're going to talk about that because we want to make sure you know, families, what it takes to apply. Application packages have already been sent home. You may not have realized that. We're going to make sure you know what that information is for. So don't change that dial. My name is Donna Moore Westby. We'll be right back.
I lead a busy life, but I still have to make sure my family eats right. And everybody loves Dawn's Seasoning Delight. I use Dawn's on meats and vegetables. It's healthy, tastes great, and it's simple to use. It's like having a chef in a bottle.
My seasoning is available at Kroger, Buy Low, Food Line, Reeds, and Harvest. Look for it on display in the meat department. Also visit seasoningdelight.com for information and recipes. Dawn's Seasoning Delight. It's so good.
Need positive and constructive after-school activities for your children? Call the Martial Arts Academy in Aiken under the direction of International Olympic trainer Andrew Blocker. The Martial Arts Academy offers an award-winning approach to teaching Taekwondo. It's an effective approach to instilling discipline. The Martial Arts Academy also offers self-defense and fitness classes for all ages. Enroll today in this affordable program by calling 803-642-5723 or visit the studio at 2398 Whiskey Road in Aiken. The Martial Arts Academy, positively changing the lives of youth and adults.
Total Women's Health Care means treating the women physically, emotionally, and everything in between. At Magnolia Medical Women's Center, we treat and diagnose common and unusual medical problems related to female health. Magnolia Medical Center is a premium high-level obstetrics and gynecology clinic for women of all ages. Our clients receive the time they deserve without feeling rushed and unimportant. We are located in the Aiken Medical Center, 410 University Parkway in Aiken, Suite 2300. Call us today at 803-649-6366.
Does your child or grandchild need help in reading or math, or can benefit from preparatory coursework for the HSAP, ACT, or SAT? If so, contact the Barner Group Educational Associates. Our staff specializes in formatting an individualized approach to assisting your child academically. We offer low-cost tutorial services and educational programs. Participants may qualify for free services. To learn more, call for Alicia Cuthbertson of the Barner Group Educational Associates, 1-888-TBG-3996.
The Will Gray Opportunity School has been serving the beautiful Midlands of South Carolina since 1921. Our mission has evolved over the years, and we now specialize in helping young people move past their obstacles in order to achieve success. We give students opportunities to lead, to develop social skills, to become active in their communities, and to taste success. Don't settle for less than the absolute best for your life. Contact us today to take the next step in your journey toward success.
Welcome back inside of Education Matters. Well, we've almost come to the end of a very informative broadcast, and I'm really excited with what you have presented today. I can just feel that there are some parents out there who've been jotting information down throughout the entire broadcast, and it really, please take advantage. Please, families, take advantage of this information. Now let's talk about the schools. Again, let's mention, to make sure we're clear, the schools that are eligible in our area for SES.
Okay. In Rich Spring Minetta is the Rich Spring Minetta Elementary Middle School and their high school. There is Aiken Middle here in Aiken, Schofield Middle, LBC, which is Langley Bath Clearwater Middle, Red Cliff Elementary, Paul Knox,
I think you're
Kennedy.
doing Schofield,
Lloyd Kennedy, and Aiken Performing Arts.
Very good.
Those are the 9.
And I made a note. I was looking at the changes from last year. If I'm not mistaken, Rich Spring Minetta High School was not on the list last year.
They were not. This is the Aikens County's first year actually serving a high school through SCS.
All right. And also for people who might be watching and in this area, I also noticed that Busby Corbett Elementary Middle were on last year, but they're off this year.
They did. They met AYP for 2 years, so they were removed from the list, which is good
so
for the
that's
Wagner
good.
community.
We'll ring the bell for
That's
them.
right. That's good.
That's good. Excellent. Okay. Now, what I want to do is, as we come to a wrap up in this particular segment, is talk about the application process. Now, when I first learned of SES, back when I said we were in this county only providing services to 350 or so students, one of the issues that was preventing people from applying was the application. It was about an inch thick. And obviously that can be quite intimidating to a mother, a single mom, or just a family when you're already busy and you've got a lot to do, and then here comes this big package home. So has that part changed?
Well, the packet is so thick because the district has to send the information on all 51
of the
providers.
Okay.
The application itself is actually a one-sheet form, which is why at the provider fair, they normally give them the sheet, the enrollment form separately.
Okay.
That way they have that one form, they're able to go to the companies and look up the information for the ones that they're interested in and then submit that one form back.
And after, do the parents complete this form after they've visited the different providers?
They've done marketing through providers. Sometimes providers go door to door.
Okay.
And you're able to determine at that time that's the best need for your child, or through a phone call to that provider sometimes determines. And you submit the enrollment form either directly to Jenny Glover at the district office. That information is included at the top of the form, or they can return it back to their school.
Okay.
But it has to be submitted by the parent.
And of course, we've been talking with the Barner Group Educational Associates, and they are one of many providers this year, 51 state-approved providers. And on that one-page application form that Ms. Cuthbertson has mentioned, you do have the opportunity to list up to 3 choices of providers on that list. So how do they work on the priority of that on that form?
Well, we hope that they choose for the number 1 slide.
Okay.
The Barner Group Education Associates.
Of course,
So
you would say that with finesse.
They get to choose 3, but we would like for them to choose the Barner Group first, and then 2 other providers that they do get the list of approved providers on that sheet. And then basically what the district does is the provider has already predetermined the number that they're willing to accept for their particular program. So as long as you've not exceeded the number that you would accept, if you're the number 1 choice, then typically you would be selected. And then if you've met your max number that you would take, then they would go to the second choice. So when we get a report, we know if we've been selected by a provider as a first choice, second choice, or third choice. And so we know throughout the process where we stand with the selection process. But the family does get to choose that, and unless it goes over, then you if you're the first choice, then more than likely you'll be chosen.
Okay. Also, the deadline for getting these forms turned in is when?
November 11th.
Okay.
However, I encourage every parent to be diligent in submission because there are about 900 slots for the entire county for those eligible students. So you want to make sure that your child receives one of those 900, which sounds like there's a lot, but again, it's for the entire county, for Aiken County.
And you definitely don't want to waste any time. You don't want to put it off because we already in Aiken County have 200 students enrolled, okay? So you can see there are some people who are getting on the ball with this information. Now, if you have questions, if there's something on your mind that we did not answer today, just go to my website, edmat.com, and there you'll see an area that says favorite links or recommended links. Click on the Aiken County School District's website, and also for more information on the Barner Group's website. It should also be there, but in case it's not, what's your website?
Our website is the Barner Group, which is BARNER.com.
That's simple enough. And also, make sure you do everything you possibly can do, parents, to find out more about SES, okay? This is a free program, no cost to you or your child. There are providers who even provide computers, okay? Some of you may not have computers and you want that kind of service. Some providers do. Some providers provide transportation as well as access to other activities to accommodate the holistic needs of a child. Make sure you select a provider that is best for your child as well as your family, because ultimately it's about your child's academic success and being able to achieve. Any last words, Mr. Barner, and then we'll come back to Ms. Cuthbertson.
Again, I want to say thank you for allowing us to share the information, and to the Aiken community as a whole. We want to provide a good service and we want to help educate your child. So I hope you would choose the Barner Group and give us a call and give us a chance to serve your kids in the best way I think we possibly can.
All right, good. Ms. Cuthbertson?
I would again encourage the parents to submit your form as soon as possible. We've gotten phone calls, and it's heartbreaking to hear the need of the parent, but those slots are filled for Aiken County. So again, get the information, go out to your fair, contact the different providers. Jenny Glover and the Title I staff is a very excellent resource for all the programs that they offer. So don't delay in taking advantage of this opportunity.
That's right. Do it today. Don't delay. And the phone numbers to the Office of Federal Programs in Aiken are 803-641-2453 or 803-641-2645. Thank you again so much to the Barner Group Educational Associates for changing lives.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, and definitely making a difference, and also for supporting Education Matters.
Absolutely.
Okay? Well, at this time, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I have a regular column in the Aiken Standard, and I would like to share with you an editorial I submitted simply called Education Matters. Every week, Education Matters provides a radio broadcast as well as a television broadcast. Sometimes I get feedback from my listeners as well as my viewers that they took the information and was able to actually benefit. Well, then there are others who use the program as entertainment. I want to share this thought with you. Does education matter to you? Well, it does to me. But apparently there are over 1 million students who do not concur with our sentiments, as evidenced by those who drop out of high school annually in the United States. Furthermore, the on-time graduation rate in this great country hovers around 69%, significantly lower than our peak of 77% in 1969, the year I was born. American students rank 17th in science and 25th in math when compared to other industrialized nations, and that comes from a CNN report. Does education matter? Although we've made tremendous technological strides in our country, can it compare to the backward steps we seem to have made educationally, morally, and ethically? Is there a correlation? I believe the answer is a resounding yes. But what are we doing about it? Again, I ask, does education matter? While I am no educational expert, although some people may think so because we are broadcasting every week, it does not take a rocket scientist to deduce that our country is in trouble. For me, I've concluded that one of the greatest contributing factors to helping us escape this quicksand of degradation is to embrace education to the fullest and to spread the word of its power. There is no silver bullet for solving the educational crisis we find ourselves in. However, I fundamentally believe in the influence of one's home life and parental involvement, or the lack thereof. For it's at home where we find our very first teachers, mom, dad, or the persons charged with raising us. Teachers of right from wrong, good from evil, or should I say nowadays it seems right or wrong, good or evil. Yes, it starts at the home. And although the home is the greatest influencer and the place where children should be taught that education matters, oftentimes the lessons taught could be farther from the thought. So it was without hesitation and dwelling on many things that which I cannot change that I began Education Matters with Donna Moore Westby. Every week I produce 2 totally new broadcasts, one for the radio and one for television. Every week we're bringing in phenomenal guests, such as the guests we had today, hopefully providing you information that if used, can help you, your family, our country, our town of Aiken to be better. So why not use this information? Don't just view these programs as entertainment. They're here for a reason. Yes, we may have fun in presenting the information to you, but certainly the bottom line is so that we can become better, all right? Does education matter to you? It matters to me. So tell your neighbors and your friends, your co-workers that Education Matters is on. For more information on our programming, go to edmat.com. My name is Donna Moore Westby, your host of Education Matters, where we're connecting you to the world of education one step at a time. Have a great day.
If you are interested in becoming an individual or corporate sponsor of Education Matters, or to receive sponsorship information, call Donna Moore Westby at 803-507-6793, or you can send an email to dwesby@edmat.com.
Does your child or grandchild need help in reading or math, or can benefit from preparatory coursework for the HSAP, ACT, or SAT? If so, contact the Barner Group Educational Associates. Our staff specializes in formatting an individualized approach to assisting your child academically. We offer low-cost tutorial services and educational programs. Participants may qualify for free services. To learn more, call for Alicia Cuthbertson of the Barner Group Educational Associates, 1-888-TBG-3996.
The Will Gray Opportunity School has been serving the beautiful Midlands of South Carolina since 1921. Our mission has evolved over the years, and we now specialize in helping young people move past their obstacles in order to achieve success. We give students opportunities to lead, to develop social skills, to become active in their communities, and to taste success. Don't settle for less than the absolute best for your life. Contact us today to take the next step in your journey toward success.
When it come to grilling, I'm the man. Using Don seasoning delight, I'm the grill master.
My seasoning is available at Kroger, Buy Low, Food Line, Reeds, and Harvest. Look for it on display in the meat department. Also visit seasoningdelight.com for information and recipes. Don Seasoning Delight. It's so good.
Don Seasoning Delight is so good.
Total Women's Healthcare means treating the women physically, emotionally, and everything. Center is a premium high-level obstetrics and gynecology clinic for women of all ages. Our clients receive the time they deserve without feeling rushed and unimportant. We are located in the Aiken Medical Center, 410 University Parkway in Aiken, Suite 2300. Call us today at 803-649-6366.